Tucker Tumbleshell and the Secret Pond Tunnel by Ryan Reeds. Deep in Willowbrook Forest, beside a sparkling pond filled with lily pads, lived a young turtle named Tucker Tumbleshell. Tucker wasn't like the other turtles. While they spent their days sunbathing on warm rocks and nibbling water plants, Tucker was always searching for adventure. "If there's something hidden, I want to find it," Tucker would say. His best friends were Daisy Duckling, Beaver, and Pip the Tree Frog. They often explored the forest together, though Tucker usually led them into the most unusual situations. One bright morning, Tucker noticed something strange while sitting beside the pond. The water rippled. Then it rippled again, but there was no wind. Tucker tilted his head. "That's odd." The ripple appeared once more, forming a perfect circle in the center of the pond. Then something shiny flashed beneath the surface. Tucker's eyes widened. "Guys, come quick!" Daisy waddled over first. "What is it this time?" she asked. "Another mushroom that looks like a cloud?" "No," Tucker whispered. "Look." The group stared at the pond. Suddenly, a silver glow swirled beneath the water. Benny nearly dropped the stick he was carrying. "Did you see that?" Pip bounced excitedly. "I definitely saw that." The glow began moving toward the shore. Closer, closer. Then it disappeared beneath a patch of tall reeds. Without hesitation, Tucker marched toward them. "Wait," Daisy called. "Shouldn't we think about this first?" But Tucker was already pushing through the reeds. Behind them, hidden behind vines and moss, was something none of them had ever seen before. A round stone doorway, half submerged in the pond. Tiny blue symbols glowed along its edges. The friends stared in amazement. "What is this?" Benny whispered. Tucker's heart pounded with excitement. "I think," he said slowly, "we just found a secret." As the blue symbols brightened, the stone doorway began to rumble. And somewhere deep below the pond, the stone doorway trembled. Tiny bits of moss and dirt fell into the water as the glowing blue symbol spun around its edge. Tucker took a cautious step forward. "Maybe we should leave," Daisy whispered. "Or maybe," Tucker said with a grin, "this is the greatest discovery in Willowbrook history." Before anyone could answer, the doorway slowly swung open. A cool breeze drifted out. The friends peeked inside. A tunnel stretched downward beneath the pond. Its walls sparkled with glowing crystals that painted the passageway in shades of blue and green. Pip gasped. "It's beautiful!" Benny scratched his head. "How can there be a tunnel under the pond without water flooding in?" Tucker shrugged. "Only one way to find out." The four friends carefully entered. As soon as they stepped inside, the stone doorway closed behind them with a soft thump. Daisy gulped. "Well, now we definitely have to keep going." The tunnel curved downward for what felt like forever. The deeper they traveled, the brighter the crystals became. Soon, they reached a giant underground cavern. The sight made everyone stop in amazement. Above them stretched a glowing crystal ceiling that looked like a sky full of stars. Below was an enormous hidden world. There were silver streams winding through fields of giant mushrooms. Trees with golden leaves swayed gently in a breeze. Colorful butterflies the size of kites floated through the air. And in the distance stood a magnificent castle made entirely of crystal. "Wow," whispered Tucker. "It looks like another world." Suddenly, a voice echoed through the cavern. "Travelers!" The friends jumped. A tiny creature with fluffy white fur and glowing ears appeared from behind a mushroom. It looked part rabbit, part squirrel, and entirely surprised. "You shouldn't be here," the creature said. "Why not?" asked Tucker. The creature's ears drooped. "Because the crystal heart is missing." The ground suddenly shook beneath their feet. A distant rumble echoed across the cavern. The golden trees flickered, the glowing streams dimmed, and cracks of darkness began spreading across the colorful landscape. The little creature pointed toward the crystal castle. "If the crystal heart isn't returned soon," he said nervously, "our world will disappear forever." Tucker looked at his friends. Adventure had found them, and this was much bigger than they had imagined. Tucker looked at the frightened creature. "My name is Tucker," he said, "and these are my friends Daisy, Benny, and Pip. We'll help you find the crystal heart." The creature's glowing ears perked up. "Really?" "Of course," Tucker replied. "No world should disappear if we can do something about it." The little creature smiled. "My name is Lumo. Follow me." Lumo led them across sparkling fields and over silver streams. Along the way, the friends noticed more signs that something was wrong. Golden leaves were turning gray. Flowers were closing their petals. Even the giant butterflies seemed tired. When they reached the crystal castle, they found dozens of worried creatures gathered outside. Inside the castle, an elderly owl named King Orion waited beside an empty pedestal. "This," he said sadly, "is where the crystal heart once rested." Tucker examined the pedestal. There were tiny scratch marks around its base. "It wasn't lost," Tucker said. "It was taken." The room fell silent. King Orion nodded. "We feared as much." Just then, a young fox rushed into the castle. "I saw something," she shouted, "near Shadow Ridge." The king's eyes widened. "No one goes near Shadow Ridge." "What's Shadow Ridge?" Daisy asked. Lumo swallowed nervously. "The darkest place in our world." Despite the warnings, Tucker knew they had no choice. The friends followed a winding trail toward the distant mountains. The closer they got, the darker everything became. Soon, they reached a narrow cave hidden between towering rocks. Inside, they spotted a faint blue glow. "The crystal heart!" Pip whispered. Excited, Tucker hurried forward. But the moment he stepped into the cave, the ground beneath him shifted. Click! A trap! Stone walls rose around them. A deep voice echoed through the darkness. So, someone finally came looking for it. Two glowing eyes appeared at the back of the cave. Then a massive shadow stepped forward. The friends froze. Whatever had stolen the crystal heart was standing right in front of them. The giant shadow stepped forward. Tucker and his friends held their breath. But as the creature emerged from the darkness, they were surprised. It wasn't a monster at all. It was a huge silver bear with kind eyes and a coat that shimmered like moonlight. Beside him rested the crystal heart. "You stole it," Benny blurted out. The bear shook his head. "My name is Argon. I did not steal the crystal heart. I protected it." The friends exchanged confused looks. Protected it from what? Tucker asked. Argon sighed. For many years, the crystal heart powered this world, but it also grew unstable. Cracks began forming inside it. If it shattered inside the castle, it could destroy everything. The bear pointed to the glowing crystal. Tiny cracks spread across its surface. I brought it here to keep everyone safe while I searched for a way to heal it. Tucker thought for a moment. Then why didn't you tell anyone? Argon lowered his head. I tried, but no one trusted the creature who lived in Shadow Ridge. The friends felt sorry for him. Argon wasn't a villain. He had been trying to help all along. Suddenly, the crystal heart flashed brightly. A loud crack echoed through the cave. The crystal was breaking apart. "We have to do something," Daisy cried. Lumo's ears lit up. "The stories!" "What stories?" asked Pip. "The crystal heart can be healed when creatures work together with courage, kindness, honesty, and friendship." Tucker smiled. "Then that's exactly what we'll do." The friends joined paws, wings, and hands around the crystal. Argon stepped forward too. A warm light filled the cave. The cracks slowly faded. The crystal heart glowed brighter than ever before. A beam of sparkling light shot into the sky. Far across the hidden world, the golden trees regained their color. The stream sparkled again. The giant butterflies danced through the air. The world was saved. A few days later, the crystal heart was returned to the castle. King Orion declared a grand celebration. Music filled the crystal streets. Lanterns floated through the air, and everyone cheered for Tucker and his friends. But Tucker smiled most when he looked at the pond tunnel, because he knew this wasn't the end of the adventure. Somewhere beyond Willowbrook Forest, more secrets were waiting to be discovered, and Tucker Tumbleshell would be ready. The end.